Okay, Toby's here for a little training with us, and you want to show us what he can do now? Like, see if he has a, like have him sit, and see if he has a stay. Can you walk around him? So, okay, so he doesn't have much of a sit stay, so do it. Can you do it, say down, and he just goes down?
Down. Down.
And then can you try to do a down stay, where you walk around?
Stay.
Okay, so we got to work on his down stay and his sit stay, obviously. And then I know that we have some fence boundary stuff to work on at your house. Oh, look at him, he sees a dog. And I can see this is the leash pulling you're talking about. He's friendly, don't go over there. But there's the other dog. So this is what your wife encounters. We're about to see how he acts with some dogs at a boundary, a fence line. And so what happens is he has aggression only at your fence line.
Oh yeah.
So it's only going to happen at your house. I get it. So we always have Toby sit at the front door before we come in, and he waits in a sit stay, and then we go back next to him and you pat your leg and you say, okay, and he walks in with you. See how he's not pulling me? If he does pull ahead, just do a little easy prompt like that. It's kind of like I can call it like tapping the brakes. It's just like that, and it'll slow him down. And we're coming straight in from outside. We're going to do the mat exercise by my front door in my living room. We're going to have him sit. We got a lot going on here, as you can probably see the people out there cleaning up, but he loves his mat, so no. If he jumps the gun like that, you just say no. Do your little do-over circle. Gently but firmly put him back. See how I just pulled up with a little bit of pressure? I didn't jerk or yank or anything. I just pulled up. He went back. You're supposed to wait until, with your right hand, you pat his chest and say, go to your mat, and then say down. He's going to go to it. Go down. And then you start your exercise, and this doesn't have to be any more than 5 minutes a day. Good. You put the reward on the mat. You withdraw. He takes it off the mat. He's not supposed to touch your hand. Try to grab it out of your hand. None of that. He's supposed to be respectful and calm, and you'll see throughout this little clip the way we're doing it. And then you just start out really easy with just like a downstay. Basic downstay where he accepts you walking around both ways. It doesn't pop up. And everything that he does on this mat, he'll do out in public as well. Good, or outside, depending on how many distractions are around. But the more you practice it in different places out there, the better he's going to get. But it's doing this exercise every day, and the fact that we've done it here every day since he got here enables him to have a real solid downstay outside or in real life without the mat. So this is a really important thing to keep doing. Good. Whatever area of the house you do this exercise in, that you do this in, he'll start thinking of that area as the calm zone, and you'll see that even when the mat isn't there and he's just on free time hanging out in that room or wherever you do it, he'll be calmer than he was before, because that's where you practice this exercise. So once you've done that and done the easy stuff, then you can start doing things that are harder for him to handle. I'm going to walk away from him, walk way in the back of the house where he can't see me. I'm going to open the back door. You can hear me opening the back door. Close it, come back. If he were to pop up, I'd say no, and I just put him back. But he didn't. He's being very good. No matter where you go, no matter what you do, you always come back in front the same way. And good, the same way. No matter what you do, he always knows it's going to be the same way at the end. So we did that. I'm going to go over here, close the door behind me, back in the back of the house. Knock on the door. He used to react to that, but he's much better now. Good. Good. So I'm just throwing all these different things at him, because the message of this exercise is no matter what you do, where you go, what noises are made, where you sit, what you do, who walks past, there's only one way he ever gets up out of a downstay, and that is when you release him in a very specific way, which we're going to do at the end. So very often when you sit down, and if you're doing things like this or whatever, It's an invitation for the dog to pop up, but he knows he doesn't leave that mat until you actually release him. Good. Oh, maybe if I sit on the sofa. You can exaggerate what you're doing just to see if he's triggered, but he's too smart for me. Good. Good. So now I'm going to try the hard stuff before we go outside. If you think you're going to do something that's difficult for him to handle, it's okay to remind him down just before you do it. Knock on the door, ring the doorbell. Oh, good. See how I'm calmly, good, rewarding him? Even after I did something huge like that, I always come back, slow it down, be super calm, be super deliberate. It's really important how you deliver the reward to him. You're not going to toss it down, you're not moving fast, you don't have jerky movements, just be calm, place it on the mat, withdraw. That's how you do it. He takes it off the mat. So let's try something else. Down. This used to be a big one. He'd always pop up from that. And also the mail slot. Mail slot was a big one. Good. Now he's okay with that. So obviously we've done a lot of practicing here. Good. And of course we're going to have to practice at your house as well. Even though he's perfect here, there may be things there that trigger him still to pop up or get excited. And so we'll just do there like we did here. And we'll work through it. And this video is a little for you to see what he's capable of doing. He didn't make any mistakes, but if he did, we would have left it in there to show you what to do. But let's pretend he did get up. Let's say I was outside, knocked on the door, he popped up, and he was here waiting for me. When I came in, I just say no, stay calm. You say no, pick up the leash, step into him. He would have been on my left. Just bring him back here. Gently but firmly put him back. I would have lifted my left foot, put him back, put the leash back there, gone out, done it again. Most likely he would have been successful the second time. I would have come back, I would have said good and good. Rewarded him with a treat. You say good the second you give him the treat, right at the same moment. It's more effective that way. Because later on when you don't have food, when you're doing other things without food and you say good, he has a great feeling about it if you say good when you reward him at that very moment. So anyway, oh, he made a mistake. No. Very often you can say no and he'll just put himself back. So he was anticipating, oh, we're done. That's why he popped up. So I put the leash back, try it again. That time he didn't pop up. Good. And now we can actually release him for real. This is the only way he ever gets up out of a downstay. You come back again and pick up the leash, or if you're already holding the leash, you're holding onto it. You're next to him, he's on your left, you pat your leg and say, okay. He gets up, you have him sit. If you're at the doorway or something, of course he always waits at boundaries. I always practice no. If he gets up, you say no and just pull up with a little bit of pressure. So I didn't release him yet. I always practice this thing where I step out, accentuating the fact that I own this boundary. He doesn't rush through this. He doesn't go through it without my permission. I step back next to him. He waits till I come back. Really hard for the dog to do this, so why not do it? Because if we're getting him to do things that take a lot more focus, then he's going to be better for it. So why not do it? See how he's really waiting? Okay. And if he tries to go ahead of you, just do a little prompt like that. You might even have to stop at the threshold to reinforce that slow sit, that slow going through the doorway thing. On the outside of the door, you can have him sit and then go. Release him to be free. Give him a little free time. We're going to put Toby in his crate. I just want to show you our little routine. Sit. You have him sit in front of the crate. If he's not straight, you can do that little left circle like that and straighten him out and have him sit at the end of the circle, and he'll be facing directly in front of the crate. So he's in a sit stay. He needs to wait until you open the door, and then with your right hand pat his chest and say go, and he'll go in. This isn't his crate, so go. Toss a treat in. He's never gone in this crate before or in this spot, so he's a little bit hesitant. Good. We're gonna do that in and out twice to show you how he can get used to it really quickly. When I put him in his crate, it's all positive stuff. So he goes in there, sometimes I'll toss a treat like I just showed you. He turns around, he gets another treat, and while he's munching on that, I take off his collar. Before I close the door, another treat. Also, I feed him in his crate, so his bowl of food goes in there. The door's always closed. When he's in there, it's always closed because you control his access in and out. And then when he's out, it's always closed because the crate routine is actually a tool for training. And if you control the boundary to this place where he thinks is really cool and good stuff happens, makes him think that you're more serious, and he's more likely to do other things that you're asking him to do as well because he thinks you're in charge if you control his access in and out of his den, and that's the way he perceives the crate. He eats in there, he gets bones and chewies in there, everything good happens in there, and it's cozy, he's got a blanket, everything in there, and he sleeps overnight in the crate as well. That's what he's been doing here. So that's how we use the crate. When you're gonna take him out, and by the way, I just hung this little prong collar on the door, so it's right there when you're ready for it. When you're gonna take him out, you just hook it up to the leash, and you hook it up to the funny looking buckle, the funny shaped one. The perfectly round one is just a spacer, and so you don't touch that at all, and it should just be like this. If it's twisted, it's not going to work, so you can maybe let it hang like that, let it work itself out if it's twisted, and then it should look like this. And you're already attached to the leash, so you open the door and just reach in and hook him up. And it just might take you a little bit of practice, but it's very easy to do, and probably in just a few short days you'll just be able to do it without even looking at it. Just reach in by feel and put it on. It always goes the closest to his ears, like the highest up, so it's above his other collar, and it's right there, right under his ears. And it's more effective if it's that collar that's the highest up above the other collars. And he needs to wait until you allow him to come out. So if he tries to stick his head out, you just do a little token slam like that. Make sure he's really waiting. If you have to do that, that's okay. And then when he waits, you give him a reward. So always reward him when he's doing it the right way. Even if you had to like do a little slam like I did, when he does it the way you want, then you reward him. Don't ever just let some like correction like that hang there. Once he's doing it the way you want it, follow up with something positive, because he'll learn a lot faster that way. No, if he tries to come out, no. See how he wants to jump out? No. Because he's not used to this crate. But this is a good thing to show you, because maybe you're gonna have this problem at your house. So I've got the door open and the leash is on. I'm stepping back, he's waiting, respecting the boundary, waiting for my permission to come out. So I'm gonna pat my leg and say, make sure he's not jumping the gun. No. Make sure he's really waiting. You should do this too if this happens to you. Okay, pat your leg, he's gonna come out, step into him like this, go back, close that door. Because I guarantee you, if you leave this door open, he's gonna be going in there because he really does love his crate. In his mind, that's where his den is and that's his bed and everything. So you always wanna control his access in and out by keeping that door closed, so that when you bring him back, he sits, he waits, you open the door, you send him in, and you just do that throughout the day. His routine here is just to go in and out of the crate throughout the day. He might be out for half an hour, in for an hour, or whatever. It's always different, but constantly in and out the same way I just showed you, and sitting at the doorways like that. And also, he sleeps overnight in his crate. That's what we've been doing here. Okay, let's go. Sit. No. Okay. Sit. Sit. Good. Notice how I put the reward right up here by my eyes and rewarded him straight down. He was actually still looking at me as I rewarded him. He's really excited right now, so I'm going to back away from him. He knows that when I say sit, it means to stay. So if you say sit, he knows that means to stay there until you release him. So you don't have to say stay anymore. Because the less you say, the less commands there are, the less talking, the higher the level of training will be. And of course, I'm talking a lot right now, so it's kind of a test just in this video, because dogs are less focused if you're blabbering all the time, like you're going to see me during these videos, but he still has it. So that's just a basic sit-stay where he accepts you walking him both ways around him. If I'd said SIT and he didn't do it the first time I said it, I wouldn't have repeated it. I just would have reinforced that with a little, like little tension on the leash like that, just gentle but firm. And as soon as his butt hit the ground, I would have released it. So you're not jerking, popping, you're not being rough. See that? If he was going to pop up, I'd say no, and just do that. He'd go back, and I'd release the pressure. It's all about being relaxed and doing less, generally. And then, of course, he knows to stay there until I release him in a certain way. So even if I drop the leash out here, and I can because it's a fenced yard, and walk away, he knows he's supposed to be there until I release him. Now, he might be triggered to pop up when I go down to get the leash, and then I'll show you what to do. He's so good. He gets a reward anyway. No. If he pops up before you release him, you say no. Step away, he goes back. I'm going to reward him. Eye contact, right? Put it right by your eyes, straight down, good. If he gets the treat at the moment that he's looking at you, he's way more likely to always be checking back with you. You have to make looking at you in the eyes something, in certain situations like this, something that he just loves to do that feels good. And so if you're looking at him as you give him the reward in a sit, for example, you can do that. Not in all positions, but this way you can. Then he's going to be more likely to be always checking back with you at other times. So to release him, if I'm going to walk with him, there's two ways to release him. Either to let him be free, pat his chest and say go, which means he's free. Or if I'm going to keep him on the clock and I just want him to stay in training mode and walk with me, I'm just going to pat my leg and say, okay, and he's going to walk with me. Down. Good. Always reward him, just like you do on the mat, just like this. Good. He waits until you withdraw. He takes it off the ground. Respectfully, he doesn't grab it out of your hand. He's not hyper. He's calm when he's in a downstay. And I generally stay away from putting him in downstays on grass or on dirt or anything like that. So usually you're going to be on a hard surface, and so it's easy to just put the reward there between his feet. And then of course stay is built into down, so we don't say stay. It's a useless command at this point. He knows that when I say down, it means to stay there until I come back. And you saw how that worked in the mat exercise inside. And because we do that exercise in the house, we can do all kinds of stuff out here when there is no mat. You can start practicing with him just in a real life situation. Put him down somewhere. Only drop the leash if you're in a safe place where where he can't get out. But I've never done this before, so let's see how he does. I'm going to leave the yard. I got two gates I'm going to go through. And if he gets up and makes a mistake, I'll show you how to put him back. So I'm going out on the street, coming back. Good. So see, this is the kind of downstay you develop if you practice the mat exercise in your house, like you saw in the other clips. Pretty soon you can start doing downstays anywhere, and he'll have that same downstay he had in the house. And then he gets a big reward because that was exceptional. Good, I gave him a double reward for that. If he does something exceptional, reward him accordingly. So now he gets up. So you say no. See how I'm just stepping into him, doing a little reset, and before I can even do this, he's putting himself back because he knows he just lost focus. And usually if you just say no, it would go back, because at this point he's pretty well trained, and if he pops up, he already knows, oh, I just lost focus and I'm supposed to stay there, and he'll put himself back. That's usually what happens. So when you're going to release him, he's waiting for you to come back and stand next to him. That's the only way he would ever leave a downstay, and that's the only way that's really safe for a dog, especially if you're out in public. He waits till you come back next to him. You pat your leg and no. If he gets up, say no and just put him back. And then go back to the step before. And try it again. This time he's going to see how he stopped himself. Oh, he's really starting to lose focus, but he put himself back. See? He's excited. it's a little bit harder for him to focus probably because I'm talking so much. And whenever we're training, I'm usually not talking at all, except for the commands. So if you're gonna release him, he waits until you come back next to him, pat your leg and say, okay, have him sit. Always release him from a calm sit stay. No pawing. It's very cute, but he needs to stay calm, not do any of that, and wait. No. Even this is very helpful because that's a reactive behavior that's automatic, something you used to do with him. And he's still in work mode, and that's a play mode thing. Nope. Go. So he was about to collapse, but he wasn't pawing anymore, so let me just redo that. Sit. Go. That's the way it's supposed to be. Don't generally release him when he's about to collapse into a down out of a sit. He's just, excited, and we know that he had that issue with being over anticipatory, which is what he was just doing. But see, you're going to see this and know what to do when I'm off the scene, he's back with you, and you have these little things happen. You see how you just stick with it and stick with the program, and he comes your way, and if you do what I'm doing here, he'll get better and better all the time. Okay.